I'd like to call the External Relations Committee meeting to order at 1 o'clock on Thursday, January the 4th. If you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If Rebecca, you can call the roll.
Okay, Director Thomas
I'm here.
and Director Underhill.
Here. Item number 2, public comment. And we have anyone on, we have online public, I'm opening it up for public comment.
Francisco's waving his hand, I think.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year, Board.
Good afternoon,
Can you
Francisco.
hear me?
Yes.
This is me, Francisco. You can hear me.
Uh-huh.
I have sent in a letter that I've asked Rebecca to enter as written public comments. And I CC'd each of you on that letter. So given that it's going to be entered, I'm not going to take everyone's time to read the whole thing, but it essentially is letting the board know that we'd like to move forward with a ratepayer-centric performance dashboard. And it identifies the specific things we'd like to track and report on a monthly basis, and is requesting that the data necessary to produce that dashboard be provided on an ongoing basis. Data that already exists and is already being produced in many instances. And rather than take up a lot of time on the committee's meeting this, I will await your receipt of the memo and path forward coming up in our meeting with the staff on January 12th. Does that work for all?
That sounds fine. When did you mail that, or when did you email that, Francisco?
Probably
12:50
within the
Oh,
last
just,
10,
oh,
15 minutes ago.
okay.
okay.
We haven't
Yeah.
reviewed it yet.
I understand that. That's why I didn't want to sit there and take up airtime that would just confuse people. So yes,
Okay.
take the time to indulge and inform yourself.
Yes, and you have all of the numbers or emails to get a response, right?
It went to Rebecca with CCs to Michael, Kelly, and the board.
All right.
Great.
Yep, I got it.
Okay. All right, Francisco, we will be in touch.
Thank you. Happy New
Okay.
Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Francisco.
Do we have any other public comment? No. Seeing none. We will go to item number 3, approval of minutes for August the 22nd, 23, September 26th, 23, October 31st, 23, and December 7th, 2023.
Okay, Madam Chair, I am very much inclined to move for approval of these, but it's usually done and just to say move for approval, and then we say, yeah, I also approve it. But I want to point out that there's some valuable information that has been recorded in these minutes that bear some scrutinizing and some analyzing, and specifically the comments from Francisco and Michael Rogers about the outreach on our rate increase being they call it a failure.
Failure.
I don't know. I'm more inclined to call it as it had some shortcomings. We had some unfortunate staffing decisions that had been made on leading up to those meetings, but I haven't verbalized this before, Francisco and Michael, but I very much appreciate your willingness to help you and ratepayers understand what we do here. It's certainly not for the lack of trying that we haven't quite reached the point where we'd like to be, but maybe with your continued help, we can do that. And reflecting back to some of the, the only town hall meeting that I went to was the one in Copperopolis. And and I know that you're trying to help us do this, but we were talking in what appeared to be a foreign language there. The people that were there listening to what we were saying, it was almost like we were speaking Italian to them, and they're all English speakers or something, or maybe we're too out in the weeds with the financial analysis. All that page after page after page of financial analysis was important to the board to convince us that we were making the right decisions and headed in the right direction and trying to keep the district healthy. But it was falling not necessarily on deaf ears, but on ears that were not understanding what we were trying to communicate. And I think we have learned a lot from that, and we'll continue to learn from it. But anyway, there's the fact that Francisco's entire presentation has been entered into these minutes. So I'll keep this in my desk here and refer to it often. And I would, you probably know that I have been granted the opportunity to be president of this board for the next 12 months. And I really would appreciate sharing contact information with Francisco, Mike, and Mike. And I commit to you that you hopefully you and I will speak the same language as we move forward. So with all that, and I apologize for taking so long on this approval of the minutes, but I would like to approve the minutes of August 22nd, 26th, 31st, and December 7th.
And I'll second that. Moved, seconded, and approved.
Approved.
Item number 4, new business. And for 2024, we have Kelly Richards, Business Services Manager, with an update.
Hello. Happy New Year, Kelly.
Good afternoon, Kelly Richards, Business Services Manager, here to provide you with the customer service update for the month of December. Happy New Year, everybody. And in continuing with past presentations, just wanted to kick off with our call queues, emails, and work orders tracking. All right, so wanted to provide you with some metrics here, as I normally do each month for call queues, emails, work orders. We had a slight uptick for the month of December in the area of calls and with our emails. So a little bit more customer outreach, as you can imagine, after the rate increase went into effect as of October 16th. So we did have a little bit more customer outreach, some questions, some clarification that was needed for some of our customers during this time. We averaged about 53 calls a day, but still only spent about 10% of our staff time on calls and emails. We welcomed our new customer service representative, Robin Patolo, who started with us on December 18th and has currently been under some very intense and rigorous training to get her up to speed so that she can be kind of fully in the mix here, hopefully by next week, and answering phone calls. She's already helping customers at the counter. She's already learned quite a bit. So we're very happy to have her on board, and she seems extremely capable. So we encourage any of our customers or obviously board members to stop on by and
Yeah.
say hello to her. She's
I'm-
wonderful. We're happy
I
to have
met
her.
her. I met her this morning on my way in, and
Great.
I would appreciate your bringing her in to the board meeting next
Sure.
Wednesday, just to say hello to.
Would be happy to do that, which is, I think, something we normally do at the board meetings,
Yes,
right?
right.
We introduce our staff. Happy to do that.
Okay, great. Yes.
Right.
Are you going to point out anything on the inquiries? Because it, just looking at the graph,
Mhm.
we had 853 in November, and in December, it was only 150 more calls,
Mhm.
and they have gotten the full brunt in December with the rate increase.
Right. So what we need to take into account here was that this covers the month of December. So we did not bill cycle 2 until around the 20th of
Oh,
December.
Okay.
So we really didn't get inquiries from our cycle 2 folks until that last third part of the month.
Okay.
So I anticipate we're still going to see elevated numbers for calls and inquiries related to the bills, even in January, stemming from that December billing. So the increase that we see in December, I think, is mainly related to that hybrid billing that we did for cycle 1 in November, because it was half the old rate and half the new
Right,
rate.
right.
So not as impactful. But we will, I'm anticipating that now that our new rate structure is fully in effect, we'll see an uptick from obviously mid-December, probably for the next couple months as customers acclimate to the new rates and get familiarized with that.
Okay, now the first round is down here. Valley Springs and
First round, well, we did the first full billing in the new rate structure for water and sewer, both base and consumptive rates, for cycle 2 in December. That was our first full billing.
but I'm talking about geographic area. Which one?
Oh, cycle 2 would be Ebbets Pass.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
And then for this month in January, when we go to bill out, that will be from November 16th to January 15th timeframe. Will be our cycle 1 folks, which will be Valley Springs, Copperopolis, Wilseyville, West Point, Wallace area.
Mhm. Okay,
Have you, are you ready to report that we've worked out the bugs with the radio read meters?
Yes.
Oh,
We are still working on bug fixes, but it is at this point not a reason to prevent the online customer portal from rolling out, basically, is what we're getting at. So we're going to continue. There will be ongoing maintenance and evaluation and oversight that's needed for this system as we move forward. But for the amount of meters that we need to do some troubleshooting on, or that we're aware of we need to do troubleshooting on, it's very, very minute amount of meters to what we actually have functioning and available with data in the system. So
Mhm.
we're ready to move forward with the
Because a few months ago, you were like at a couple of hundred or,
Mhm.
yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
but
slowly
we've been
getting,
busy. We've been
slowly
busy.
getting fixed and.
It has been, and and a lot of times because it's been a collaborative effort between engineering, operations, customer service. I mean, there's been field staff, there's been a lot of collaboration to get us to this point. There's going to be continued collaboration, obviously, but we're still heavily in that project phase of the implementation with Mueller. So there was quite a bit of reliance on Mueller and then their subcontractor Keystone, who did the meter installs, to kind of complete what they needed to complete as a requirement of the project. So that's happened over the last several months. And I think collectively CCWD has done a great job, finaling out this project. And so we're at the point now where we're ready to launch that portal.
Great.
So yes,
Uh-huh.
I kind of jumped ahead here, but we're looking good. We're looking pretty good at this point. Is this gonna work for me? Okay, perfect. So one of the topics that I committed to reporting on here for our committee is, what does customer service do outside of customer interaction, calls, emails, and the creation of service orders for our field staff when we get inquiries that need to be checked on. And so this is very much a overview of some of the things that customer service does in the other, 90% of our time. And so I could probably spend a couple of hours going through this with everybody, and I certainly don't want to do that to that degree, but giving you this overview of some of the things that we handle certainly doesn't put into context the time that's associated with some of these tasks and completing them, or the frequency that we have to complete these tasks. So for example, where we will do move-ins and move-outs really on a almost daily basis, and may not take as much time to do a move-in or move-out, the frequency of them is enough that we do them on, daily. Whereas you look at regular billing, we only do regular billing once every 60 days, but it's very involved. And so I didn't drill down really into the frequency or the amount of time that it takes us to do these things, but I can tell you that all of these tasks and responsibilities keep our staff extremely busy for the time that we're here in the office. And so I wanted to kind of paint a picture here. And if there's anything in particular that the committee would like me to drill down into, whether, it be at a next one of our coming committee meetings, I'm happy to do that. And would just like to display that customer service staff is very committed and capable and busy folks here working for the district. And not only do we handle tasks that are customer service centric, but we also have our hands in quite a few cross-departmental tasks and responsibilities as well.
Well, the scope of the knowledge that our customer reps need to develop is amazing. Just amazing. Look at that. It is just, whew.
Kelly, I have a question about the bottom item on the leftmost list there, the property liens and lien releases.
Mhm.
I've always been under the understanding that if there was a delinquent account, we try multiple times to collect it, can't collect it. We don't file a lien, we turn it over to the county and they lien. So what are we leaning, and why are we concerned about liens and lien releases?
So we work very closely with finance on lien and lien releases, and this a lot of times has to do with assessment districts and properties that owe the district money, and that we help track those costs and those collections with finance. Collection bureau activity, liens in those regards, there's no liens per se that happen with the collection bureau, right? We just simply take whatever that outstanding balance is for a closed account and send it over to the collection bureau, and they collect on behalf of the district for a fee, obviously. So we don't recoup all of that money back, but those get written off essentially of the customer account because they've been moved over to the collection bureau for collection purposes. So basically what happens is the account on the front end, and this is getting more into the accounting side of things, but the account on the front end will get written off per se into a like collections bucket on the finance side. So then as the collection bureau is successful in collecting these outstanding balances, that money goes directly into that write-off bucket in finance, and we'll kind of drum that down as we're successful or the collection bureau is successful in collecting those balances. But that's only for closed accounts.
Okay, so the closed accounts never end up going over to the county so that we get paid by the county.
Those are active accounts that go to the county for teeter. Those are active open accounts where we still have somebody who is owning the property. So if we get to a point where, you know, there's maybe a bill or two that is outstanding at the time that somebody sells their property and they are no longer the owner, and we have tried collecting from them, but we're unsuccessful, we will move that over to the collection bureau.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, so with the hiring of Robin,
Mhm.
again, this brings your staff up to 3.
This brings staff and customer service for customer service representative up to 3. Yes, we have full-time permanent CSR1. We have a full-time temporary CSR1, and then we have a senior CSR.
Okay,
Mhm.
and the temporary is the one who has been with us for,
The temporary position has been with us since, let's see, when was that voted? That went into effect
Been
before I got
a year and a
here.
half now, I think, and we're anticipating converting that to permanent in this spring.
oh, okay, all right, because it just makes sense that, you know, well, but then we are going through conversions, and so it's, your workload is,
Our workload, yeah, our workload has been consistent, but you know, as you evaluate staffing and you're evaluating systems, you're evaluating processes, you're trying to streamline things as much as you can. We're not only looking at that, but we're also looking at, you know, contracts and relationships that we have with vendors who are assisting us with payment processing and, you know, running our softwares and all of these things. So we've been in kind of this constant evaluation mode, at least since I've been here, where we're trying to get our bearings a little bit more as a customer service department so we can be more efficient and be more operationally sound to be able to confidently say, okay, here's what we're looking at for the next, you know, year to 5 years as far as staffing goes. And we just haven't truly been able to do that, unfortunately. We're getting there now that we have folks in the office where we can make sure that all of these responsibilities and these tasks are being completed, and we can now start putting realistic kind of timeframes towards these. Okay, when you run this process, it's going to take this long, and this is how frequently we have to run it. And we can really start taking a look at time management, staff management, resource needs, all of those things. So I really am happy that we have Robin added on to our staff, and I can really start drilling down into these things and, you know, kind of feeling like doing a little bit more of what I think I'm supposed to be
as the
doing.
customer services
as
manager,
the
that
manager
is,
to
that was
determine
a
where we are.
real goal of the board. To
Right.
recognize what your position is and how you will perform it.
Right, right. So I'm happy to say that we are much closer to me being able to spend some quality time on doing that. And I look forward to doing that. So, you know, we do have our customer service related tasks and responsibilities. It's not working. You help me out. Did it? Okay. But we also work with our other departments here at CCWD on a number of things. And that can be anywhere from our, you know, cost to serves for those brand new connections that need to be joined into the system, to notifications for shutdowns for our field staff. We work with finance on that tax roll, that teeter agreement. We assist operations with backflow program fees, lead and copper credits. We work on special projects and implementations. We have our hands in rules and regs, procedures development, evaluation. We coordinate quite closely with engineering for our district mapping. We work with field staff and other agencies on helping them with, you know, locations, easements, system pressures. And then we also, you know, collaborate quite a bit and have a lot of contact with various outside agencies within Calaveras County and beyond. So
Are we still doing ATCA?
we are, and I'm going to report on
Oh,
that
okay,
shortly.
sorry.
Yes. So we are still in contact with ADCA, and I'm happy to say that 2 slides from now, I'll be able to provide an update that they were
Okay.
able to continue the LIWAP program.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes, so I did just want to take this opportunity to highlight these many, many wonderful things that customer service staff is a part of and is critical to have these folks in here on a daily basis to help keep the operations moving. And, you know, having been in water and wastewater customer service now for over a decade, I can tell you it is very, very rewarding. It's a big learning experience. You do feel like you have to be kind of a jack of all trades as far as knowledge is concerned, and be able to triage calls and assist, you know, other departments. And I just, my hat's off to customer service staff. I can't say it enough. I feel very blessed to work with the folks that I do, and we're going to continue our efforts, and just wanted to highlight some of those.
I have another couple of questions here.
Sure.
On back to the first page of the rightmost column there, we've got reports. This is inner workings, reports, water consumption and state reporting.
Yes.
It would seem to me that those functions would be in conjunction with our engineering department or water resources department.
Right. So some of them are in conjunction. There is an annual report that goes out to the state specifically every year. And so customer service is critical. We compile a lot of the data needed for that report. And it's not necessarily just consumption. We do have Centrix now, or AMI, I should say, our automated metering database that will aid us moving forward in providing a lot of that raw consumptive data. Whereas I think in the past, you know, we've had to rely heavily on our build, you know, data to report on consumptive, you know, practices or consumptive trends within our water system. But we're still going to provide those reports so that we can make sure that we're billing accurately. But then annually, there's reports that we have to provide on the number of connections we have, the types of connections, so residential, commercial, multifamily, all of those things. So this is all data that we keep in our system. If there's been any disconnections or shutoffs, if we've had to, you know, run through any delinquency processes under SB 998. So there's quite a bit that is just customer service centric to a lot of the state reporting. But you're right, a majority of that is in conjunction with water resources and operations reporting requirements.
One of the benefits of the new meters I've been anticipating taking a close look at is how easily it should be to compare the data on water produced from the processing facilities
Mhm.
and the consumption, and find out what the delta is between the consumption and the water produced to identify what our leakage might be.
And that is one of the major benefits of having this this program and this infrastructure is to be able to do that and to be successful in meeting the requirements for reporting. Because as you've heard in every other meeting that we have here at CCWD, they're becoming more and more stringent and they want more and more details. And they want us to be able to drill down and be able to find all of that information. And so AMI allows us to do that and will, help in kind of maybe pinpointing a little bit more of whatever that delta ends up being, how we better track that, what would be considered water loss and other means of production versus consumption.
How, go ahead.
Well, we're kind of this overstating the obvious here, but we're being scrutinized more closely now than we have been in the past. So it would seem to me that if we're telling our customers that we're spending a lot of money, and we are, on chemicals, that we should be able to identify individual streets or certainly neighborhoods where we've got an inordinate amount of delta between water going into the system and water consumed by the customers, and target those, get rid of those leaks and save money on the chemicals that are needed to process the water. So, that's where I hope that we can kind of wave a flag and say, look what we're doing to try to reduce costs.
Right.
Yeah, and that's going to be an ongoing process. AMI meters are going to be a big part of that. We need to improve distribution system metering in addition to AMI meters so that we can get an even better handle on that. So that's going to be an ongoing process of getting a finer detailed view of the distribution system where system losses are taking place.
Do you, I don't know, you can probably answer this, Kelly, better than anybody else in the room, Kelly G. But are there flow meters that tabulate the water flow that goes through PRV? Okay.
So reviews would be helpful. That'd be a much larger project, but it would give us that data. That's, I think, where we want to go in the future.
Yeah, and we want to be strategic about that and make sure that, if we're going to make investments in distribution system meters, because they're not necessarily cheap or easy to install, that we're pinpointing, the most beneficial locations to collect that data. And so that we can, make strategic investments in the distribution system. But we're going to be, we're going to realize some of that benefit from the AMI system by itself. And then I think it's just going to be a constant process of upgrading the information that we have to target those hotspot areas. Our distribution crews have a pretty good idea of where they are already. And we do track where our most problematic areas are, and we are targeting those areas. But more data would be useful.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's hit or miss with this. Okay, so to move on to customer portal update, just wanted to let everybody know that we are still projecting a go live of this month for our customer portal. Again, just to highlight some of the new features that will be present. We will have consumption alert thresholds that will be available. We will also have vacation threshold alerts. So for those customers who end up going on vacation for a period of time, or maybe are not at their second home for a period of time, you're able to set various level alerts and then also receive them in a way that is convenient for you as a customer. So there are several options for communication types, and then the system will actually provide you with an average daily use and an average bi-monthly use. so that you can effectively set thresholds based on historical usage that is specific to you as a customer. So we look forward to launching this here. I want to reiterate, because I know it's been asked in the past, that our portal is compatible both on a computer and a mobile device, a smart mobile device. And we're just continually urging customers to get in there and create a portal account at this time, so that once we flip that switch, they'll be able to just log right in and see the new features available to them.
Now, I remember a couple of years ago, we established accounts. They now have to be changed to the new.
No, so we.
They're still there?
So when Tyler launched, and we launched our new portal through
Mhm.
Tyler in September of 2021, those customers that are customers now currently, that created an account
Mhm.
at any point during that time, their account is active. They can log in. Now, if you're a new customer or you've never gone into this portal and made an account, we're encouraging folks to do that, because once we basically open up the smart meter side of the portal and they can see their AMI consumption and set these alerts, they already have a portal account created, and they can just log right in. They don't have to go through the registration per se, and they can familiarize themselves with the portal the way it is now. And then once that new element is added, it won't be, it'll be a little bit, I think, easier to get on there and navigate and feel comfortable with what you're seeing, because you've already familiarized yourself with the rest of the portal. So we're just encouraging folks who have not yet made an account in the last couple of years, but are still active account holders, to go in there and create those accounts in anticipation of this element being introduced this month.
And that encouragement is taking what form?
So we've worked with Kelly G in sending out some notifications regarding our customer portal. We are encouraging customers, when they call in, to go ahead and create an account if they don't already have one. So customers can call in for anything, regarding their account, maybe a question about a bill, but we are engaging customers over the phone as well, to make sure not only that we have updated contact information, but they're also going on and we're encouraging them to go on and create a customer portal account as well. Customers that come into the counter, we're doing the same. So we're kind of having those conversations in various ways. We have also engaged customers via email who have reached out, because they want to be able to track be able to pay their bill online, track their account a little bit more closely. And so we're sending a lot of those instructions for setting up accounts via email as well.
If one of these 1,000 people that you have on your December report, or the inbound calls, if your customer service representative asks them, are you aware of our portal? And the answer is no. Does the possibility exist that you could have a designated person that would be designated like a help desk or something? And you could just say simply, we can connect you with somebody here that could help you navigate to that customer portal.
So we do have resources that we provide folks, and the whole idea behind the portal itself is to empower our customers to kind of take control of their account and set it up. Now, if folks run into an issue or they're having difficulty with registering or navigating that, all customer service reps, and myself included, have aided customers over the phone with walking through that registration process step by step. We've also had customers come into the lobby where we have that computer, and we've sat out with them individually and walked them through that process as well. So I think it's something collaboratively customer service has been successful in assisting customers with. I think if we ever reached a point where we felt like we were getting inundated with those types of calls, we could effectively triage and maybe designate somebody who would be able to do that. But I think right now we've been managing pretty well across the board.
Right.
Mhm.
The portal's slated to go live this month. And you mentioned earlier that you will flip the switch. Are we going to be able to? I think that as the new president of the board, I should be able to flip the switch.
The proverbial switch,
Yeah.
yes.
Uh-huh.
Well,
That
that
can
can
we make it? Yeah, let's make that.
certainly be
classic.
something
Oh,
that we,
yeah.
yes, that we coordinate. And we would
Uh-huh.
love to, because this has been such a collaborative effort and an undertaking to get to this point, I think it merits some sort of celebration, but I don't think that's lost on Michael either.
We,
So
we were envisioning kind of a ribbon cutting ceremony since we already have the giant scissors, but now Kelly, we need to get a giant switch in addition to the scissors. So
that would be great.
let's work on it.
We would love to do something along those lines because I think that this is, such a big success for CCWD and our customers that I think we'd love to see it highlighted. So however we could do that, we're on board for that.
Let's make it a bit more challenging though, maybe like a crank of an old fashioned sort of, yeah.
The switch would have to control an electrically actuated valve that turn the water on or something like that. Anyway, it'll be
We'll go from here.
a good
We'll have some ideas.
celebration.
Yes,
Okay,
we're
so
looking forward
it's-
to it.
we're going live January.
Yes, yes, and I still, and I apologize for this, I'm a little vague on the specific date because there's just a few minor things that we're ironing out right now, but we're gonna make it happen.
Let us know. We can be here in an hour.
Okay. But we're almost there. We're crossing that threshold here. So I am confident in saying it will occur this month. Yes.
Okay.
And to move on to customer assistance, I am also pleased to report that we heard from ADCA not too long ago, actually just a couple weeks ago, that they received the green light from the state program to go ahead and reallocate funding that was still available within Tuolumne County specifically, because ADCA does assist Tuolumne, Amador, and Calaveras counties. And Amador and Calaveras counties exhausted their allocated funding for the LIWAP program, but Tuolumne did not. And they did not have the involvement there that they were looking for. And so they did receive, like I said, the green light from the state to reallocate those funds over to Amador and Calaveras County. So I'm pleased to announce that the LIWAP program has been renewed to the tune of $15,000. So not an overabundance of assistance, but still enough that, Calaveras County Water District customers can still reach out and receive some benefit if they qualify. So again, worked with Kelly G on sending some media communication out to let folks know that program had been reopened and that funding was again available. So we are still encouraging CCWD customers to reach out to ADCA and see if that's a program that they qualify for. We still have our CAP program, and I am going to actively keep reporting on this since we still have vacancies in the program. So we still have 45 open spots for water customer assistance and 69 open spots for wastewater. And in keeping with the conversation of exploring, alternative means of customer assistance, whether that be CCWD generated program or expansion of our existing program, working or collaborating with other agencies in the area. Really, we've kind of made a small pivot and shifted focus to how do we best utilize our current funding allocated to our CAP program since we don't have any waiting lists, we're not maxed out. How do we maybe expand on the outreach or get that information out there so customers can capitalize on this program as it exists now? It's certainly not difficult to look at alternatives to see how we may be able to bolster our customer assistance, but it does prove a bit challenging when your existing program is not even maxed out. We still have availability. And so we really want to push this program out to our customers. We want to let them know there's still availability. They can reach out to us. We're happy to work with them over the phone. They can come in and see us. We'll provide them the paperwork, the information that they need, and really, maximize this program as much as we can. One of the things that we've talked about in customer service that we haven't yet broached with, with Kelly or with Michael yet is the possibility of maybe a survey that goes out to our customers asking, what types of assistance they would like to see from CCWD, and maybe that will glean some insight to how we move forward, or, how we may allocate funds for the program, maybe changing what our existing program looks like or the parameters involved with it, so.
Because there was a lot of thought that went into what the parameters were. And so
Correct.
at that time, it could have been relevant, but now
Right.
bring forward,
Right. And
it
so
could
we're
be changed. Uh-huh.
We're looking at almost 5 years that this program's been in existence, and not really a lot of evaluation on whether or not it meets the needs and expectations of our customers at this particular time.
Yeah.
So we're kind of taking an active approach at reevaluating that and seeing how we might be able to maybe restructure or tailor the program so that it reaches more of our customer base that's in need. So those talks and those discussions are ongoing with us, and so we're going to continue that. And as soon as we've made significant headway there or have ideas, we'll be obviously presenting those.
Yeah, I have a question. We said that we had a total of $15,000 that we could use towards a past due bill or whatever.
That's for the LIWAP program through
Yeah.
ADCA.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Okay. Would we pay off a particular customer's entire bill, or is it done proportionately, or is it allocated out, or?
So ADCA, the LIWAP program parameters have changed several times for the life of the program. So they used to have stipulations involving, the amount that they would pay up to. So there used to be a maximum benefit of $2,000. But your account had to be past due. And then it morphed into, well, it's a $2,000 threshold, but your account could be current. But your most recent bill was a, exorbitant amount of money, and you're looking to receive assistance and you meet the qualifications financially. Or now it's morphed to there is no benefit threshold. If you reach out and you meet the qualifications and the funding is there, they may be able to assist you in benefits more than that amount. So it just reaching out to ADCA directly and getting the most recent updated parameters and requirements of their program is what I recommend, because they have changed frequently throughout. There's been different iterations of the requirements for that program since it's been in existence. So we strongly, and when customers reach out to us, we direct them straight to ADCA so that they can, give them the most up-to-date and correct information for the program. And that is all I have.
And thank you.
For today. If you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
On this 15,000 that you have listed here for the Calivers and Amador, is that 15,000 each, or do they have to share that?
They have to share that. That is shared funding for both counties. So it's really a first come, first serve type situation for the remainder of those funds.
Okay, going back to the point in time where our board approved the CAP program that we've been, was it 5 years or so? Heard you mention.
Yes.
There was not very much enthusiasm on the board to have it be a program that was where the maintenance and the administration of the program was a burden for CCWD. So the solution to that possibility was that a person had to, first of all, the threshold, initial threshold would be to be involved in the PG&E assistance program. Is that still the case?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that is still the mechanism for approval for our program, the PG&E care program enrollment.
So, and it seemed to me at the time that that was a totally appropriate requirement. Do you still feel that way, that that's?
You know, in looking at many other water districts and water departments that have assistance programs in California, many of them are based on the PG&E care enrollment. So it still seems to be a consistent, mechanism used for customer assistance program enrollment for water agencies as well.
When you say it's the basis for it, but the actual qualification would require that a person be currently in that.
Correct. And so not only is it, the initial enrollment, but it's the annual re-enrollment. So yes, it does require the customer to provide on an annual basis, consistent and continued enrollment in the care program through PG&E.
Okay. Oh, I have the $1 million question.
Okay.
I heard a long time ago that electrons travel at the speed of light. So computers, with electrons going here and back and forth and everything, I'm visualizing a time in the hopefully not too distant future that we can use this technology, and it would be certainly dependent upon the ability of Tyler or whoever we're using for our accounting and billing. But I want to bill 13,000 customers each month, not on alternate months. At the speed of light, that should be fairly attainable. I mean, tell me why that couldn't be achieved.
It's not that it can't be achieved. Anything is achievable, Russ. But I think all it would take is, we would have to sit down collectively and talk about what this restructure would look like from not only an operational basis, but cost basis as well. Any kind of adverse impact to any of the other subsequent processes that we run for billing. So any, reinstatement of the delinquency processes, it would duplicate that as well. Duplicate, employee efforts. We would have to look at it from across the board and really plan it out, as with any change that you do. So it's not that it's unachievable. I would just really want to be strategic in how we evaluate that and roll it out and make sure that that's truly the direction we want to go. Any kind of undertaking like that, where you're changing the way that you bill,
Yeah.
is a big
Expansive,
change,
yeah.
is a big change for folks.
Yeah, it would be a big change. We'd have to look at all of the implications, as Kelly mentioned. I think though too, it's important to understand that it's not, AMI metering does not make billing, a cinch. It's not just a matter of flipping a switch and, the bills are automatically populated and sent out. There's still a lot of quality control work that customer service has to do. Kelly can tell you more than anybody else. Even once it's all operating as smoothly and as efficiently as we can get it to operate, you're doubling the amount of work that would be involved every month. Do it throughout that process. So I think we should explore that as this plays out and we get more comfortable with both of those programs. But I think we should be cautious before we make a change that would have really significant impacts.
Well, I acknowledge that there might be significant impacts, but in my mind, there would be significant advantages as well. The number one is that I'm convinced that there's a large percentage of our customers, when they get the bill, and they look at it and they say, how in the world can I afford to pay this $150 a month? And it doesn't resonate, or they don't go through the calculation of, well, wait a minute, it's only half of that 150.
Right.
And that, I don't know, we suffer as an organization, our reputation and everything, and the word goes out, oh my God, I'm paying $150 a month, and oh, you can't be paying that much. And
Right.
so that would be the initial um, uh, thing that you would achieve is fewer calls from the customers, and how can I afford to pay this bill? And I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously, I mean, I'm a bricklayer, so I don't know how to program your computer or anything, but if you're handling 6,500 round numbers for the 13,000 water bills, just make it happen.
It's not a wiggle my nose. It's not a foreign concept. I really think with automated metering becoming more commonplace with many agencies, these are conversations that are being had. It's not a foreign topic. I mean, in keeping in contact with other agencies, these are conversations that are happening. And I think it's just widely understood that it would be, something that you would want to make sure that you're strategic and methodical in rolling out. And
Mhm.
that's pretty much.
Well, the
my
reason I'm
only
asking
comment for that.
asking that question is that, we had not the hard sell, because it was fairly easy decision to make to do the AMA meters,
Mhm.
but the justification for in the past to having the every other month staggered billing was that our meter readers can't possibly get around to all these meters
Right.
every month.
Right.
That's no
So
longer.
now you're
that
saying
was
it's
what-
gone.
You remember that was the big
Yeah,
argument,
uh-huh.
Bertha, that it's physically impossible to do it. Well, we've got a different reporting system now.
Right.
So can we get a periodic update on that idea?
Sure.
Uh-huh.
You've got it.
And you said that you had 10 years experience in this realm.
Yes.
Other agencies that you worked for, did they have staggered billing or?
Yes.
Re-
Both agencies that I worked for prior to CCWD billed every other month, every 2 months.
Oh,
Did they have the automatic meters?
They did.
oh.
Well, they were wrong.
But like I said, it's not a foreign conversation. These are talks that have been happening for years. And I think it honestly has to do with this is the way that billing has happened for many agencies because of that reason. The manual collection of meter reads, it was necessary that you build, every other month or every 60 days to allow for manual reading of these meters. And
So who knows, 5 years from today, we could be there.
How about 5 weeks?
oh, do you know how many gray hairs I have right now? I'm trying to prevent more of those right now, but we'll,
I hate to disappoint you, Director Thomas. It will not happen on that timeframe.
Okay.
It is not an easy undertaking at all.
Yeah.
Gotta
So
shoot the
let
bat
me just-
once in a
Let me just give you the bad news up front here. It would be a pretty significant undertaking, and that's not to say that we won't continue to evaluate, if we get to a point in time and we can do that efficiently, then absolutely. But yeah, we can report back on that regularly.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Hmm.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and thank you. Pardon?
Yes, we have some
Oh, okay,
public comment.
may we have any public comment? Oh, okay.
Good afternoon. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
everyone.
Ralph.
A couple things here. Wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. That's a lot of work. I know that's a lot of work. No matter how long you've been in the business, it's a lot of work. Really quick, you had mentioned our smart meters. You've talked to other agencies and they've had success in taking care of leakage and better quality of reporting of water usage and so
Mhm.
forth. That was looked at before
Mhm.
you got the meters?
Yes.
No, okay. I just wanted to touch base on that. Also, replacing large distribution meters rather than propeller meters, I would suggest magnetic meters. Twice the cost, almost 3 times the cost, but you get just a better quality reading of your water and also longevity of a meter, replacing propeller meters with magnetic.
Oh, Ralph, let me ask you a question. I've looked at the trade shows that we attend, and there's always vendors that have different propellers versus the magnetic thing. It looked like to me that the magnetic meter was designed so that it could just go around a pipe. You know, there's no interruption of the pipe. Is it?
Right. It drops in, the unit will drop in like a regular meter,
Mhm.
and it's the full ID of the pipe. So there's no propeller in there causing any churning of the water and so forth. You just get the straight flow.
But it's not something that bolts onto the pipe around.
Yeah. No, that would be different. I'd be saying if you're going to be replacing meters or installing new ones, I would, again, just consider. I mean, it's expensive. I mean, at least 10 years ago when I was selling them, who knows if they've modified them. The other question I have, last August, there was a lot of issues with Tyler software. They had a good HR product, but it seemed like there were issues transitioning from Springbook, I guess it was. And you had to bring in Centrex to help bring everything together. I'm just wondering if we're through those growing pains or if there's still issues that you have to deal with Tyler. And did you figure out, was it their fault? Was it CCWD's fault? Was it a mixture as far as maybe not getting the product that you guys were looking for?
That's an ongoing process. There are still growing pains, I can tell you.
Mhm.
And it's really we've just been so focused on the utility billing side of things that we haven't transitioned to the HR software or the finance modules yet for Tyler.
Okay,
But we've been talking a lot about that in the finance committee meetings and kind of evaluating where we're at with that process. I think we're finally getting to a point where we're hoping to, optimize the utility billing side of it and then focus on the other transitions that we want to make.
okay. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, guys.
All right, thanks, Ron.
Okay, and we have any further public comment? Nobody's raising their hand?
Yes, ma'am. I raised my hand. See?
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, this is more for Kelly R. One of the things that we're going to be looking at doing is having some sort of measure of customer satisfaction. I'm not sure what measures or metrics she's been exposed to in the last 9 years that she's been in the industry. And I'm not sure what you all had planned to kind of improve the level of customer satisfaction that we're currently experiencing with all this recall effort going on and all of that stuff. It would seem prudent to start exploring the kinds of questions that you would want customers to give you a response on, to give you a sense as to, are you doing the right thing? Or we got to keep trying. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, we are having those discussions about the best way to get that, valuable data on that side of things. We've started experimenting with some survey tools already that Kelly G has brought to us. So we're working on that and yeah, hope to make some progress on that this year.
okay, thank you. Could we take a 5-minute break?
Certainly.
And then you're on, Kelly G. 5. Okay, only for one day. Okay. Reconvene and we have Kelly G.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
So I first wanted to start and I wanted to elaborate a little bit on the outreach efforts associated with the ATCA and the CAT program. It was kind of phased. Initially, we were pushing the CAT program again and got really, really good feedback. I was actually blown away. I mean, it had probably more engagement and more impressions than any of the other posts that we've done. It was shared a lot. And then a few weeks later, we found out the good news about the the ATCA and the LIWAP program, and we pushed something out again, and the same thing. It was just really, really good feedback. So that was encouraging, and it was nice to see that these important programs that the public is engaging with them. Like I said, it pretty much blew out all the other posts that we've done for months. So it's nice I think it's a wonderful program, and to see that the community is engaging, and it's nice to see.
Yeah.
So
My thought to that was the minute you start talking about money, the ears perk up
Yeah.
and yeah.
well, and during this whole process, that's been a big theme
Mhm.
too, is assistance. And some folks are going to have hard times with these bills, and this is a good way to help with that.
Mhm.
I made some slight changes on the website too, and put a larger button on the website to direct right to that part of the website. So that's helpful too, I think. So with that, this one, oh, now it caught up. I know. Okay, I'll go slower.
Mhm.
So we've also been doing a lot more outreach with the board meetings and the committee meetings, and some of the feedback I've gotten from the survey that we put out during the Copperopolis Town Hall was give a little bit more notice for the committee meetings. And so we're trying to do that. And so we started this year with a calendar that kind of gives a month notice, in a sense, to really to look what's coming up. We're not sure how this is going to work yet. I mean, committee meetings do sometimes change, and so we don't want to put out outreach and then have to change it or make more confusion. So this is the first time we tried this. So I did my normal external relations committee meeting next week, and then added also this calendar. So hopefully it kind of helps folks see kind of ahead. Yeah, but like I said, just as long as committee meetings, sometimes they change, and I don't want to create more confusion if I can avoid that. So, but I think it's a nice way to see what's coming up this month. So, some of the website updates, I try to catch it all in there. So the website itself is kind of small, so that's why I have big red circles there. But I put those buttons that are now on the front are just, I added the committee meeting agendas. I added, again, the customer assistance, trying to make it simpler so people don't get lost in our website. I just think that kind of helps move people through it a little bit more efficiently. We added the menu bar now stays in the website as you're scrolling. Doesn't before it would kind of disappear. And so now it's kind of static. We have the social media links up on the top, which is kind of nice too for folks that want to just easily move around, make it real easily linkable. The original one or the very front one with the nice mountains? Oh, okay.
Please, anybody. There's a guy that posted on the social media. It's essentially, oh, great, they're trying to prove their CCW is trying to prove their outreach now. Somehow it's could be interpreted as a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, there's also the saying, better late than never. I mean, we're always trying to improve everything. So we will continue to improve. So
Russ, you're.
But yes, this is a direct result of feedback that we got from the public. It's an anonymous survey that we put out during
Yeah.
the Copperopolis Town Hall, and we were going to start it in December, and we waited till the new year.
Yeah.
So I do think it's helpful.
Well, I thought it was wonderful, and I just was really kind of taken aback by somebody criticizing the
Right.
outreach that we're trying to do. But
And in this
Anyway.
particular Facebook post, you don't see it, but I did put some nice words in there encouraging. I mean, we really do like people to come participate in these meetings. If in person's great, online's great. So
Yeah.
we do encourage it. We like it when I think there's good engagement when more people participate. So we do really encourage it.
Yeah, we all benefit when there
Absolutely.
is engagement.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So this says digital newsletter. This is something I've been working on. I don't think it's really a newsletter. And we've been trying to figure out what it really is, but for now we're calling it a newsletter. And this is it's a draft right now. Okay, she opened it right up. That's awesome. Are you in the hydraulics? Here, maybe go back. Uh-oh. I had the wrong link then. This is part of the newsletter. I'll just talk through it. Again, it's not really a newsletter. I think it's more of a,
Is it the same link? I could send it to you or
yeah, or I emailed you the updated one. That just might have linked to within the newsletter. So that's part of
because
it.
it's
If you
really good. I think we should show it if we can.
Yeah, it's very extensive, so I was going to talk through it and I didn't want to bore anybody and scroll through it. That's why you can scan it right now, and folks that are online, if we keep this up for a while, you can scan it, or Ralph, if you want to scan it, you can take a look at it. Like I said, it's in its draft stage. We're still working on it, and I was trying to think of what I could call it other than a newsletter. I mean, I'm viewing it more as a interactive story, and there's several updates again to our portal, to our rate calculator, to the assistance programs, and it's full of links as well that link you directly to the website. So I think it can really help with our website. It's another tool I think I can use to engage folks and get that information out. And it is filled with a ton of information. Like I said, it's everything from our current updates to hydrological condition updates. And I started working on that last year when I first started in water resources. Well, at this time last year, we were having one heck of a winter, and we were watching reservoirs just come up. We were watching these huge atmospheric rivers. So I started a portion of this, and it was all the current reservoirs. A lot of the times when you go on the sites and you see all the reservoirs, you see them from all over the state, which I think is fantastic. But personally, I want to see what some of our reservoirs in our backyard are looking like. So that's on here as well. It's not part of the main page of the newsletter. That would be another link that would take you into another section that if you didn't care for that kind of information, you wouldn't have to go there. Right here, that's a link directly to the rate calculator on our website.
Mm.
So I'm trying to make it really easy to drive people to these locations on the website and get that information and make it more of an enjoyable experience. Some people might have fun combing through websites, but I'm trying to make it just a different way. And again, this section here would be updates. For instance, we'll be doing flushing in Jenny Lind for the next few months. You know, there might be a project coming online. So here's where I can communicate that.
Now, are you going to be area concentrated? Or are you gonna, say specifically where we're doing this, or just throughout CCWD? For example, in Jenny Lind Flushing, you're gonna be,
Yeah.
you'll say that specifically.
Yes, like for instance, where we just saw, that was just a list of some of the projects that'll be
Right,
happening in
Uh-huh.
the next month or so, and some of the projects that might be coming online. And then again, where she's at now in the pictures kind of from Damon's
Mhm.
reports, and also direct links to the videos. Again, trying to really simplify it. I've been testing this thing for a few weeks now, and the PRT has been testing it. It's kind of fun to scroll through, and it makes it really simple to find some of this information. There's going to be a construction section, and for instance, I've been making these one pagers for the different construction projects. So you can click on it, you can expand it, you can learn about that project, like, for instance, that's the consolidation project going on in West Point. The A to B transmission line, which you guys have heard a lot about, the Copper Cove projects. It's kind of a one-stop shop with just,
But you always have a link to get more specific.
right, and
Mhm.
several of these will link directly to our website, or I have it, for instance, linking directly to ATCA to make that process simpler. If, as we're communicating these different programs, I want to make it simpler for someone to go right to it. So here's where the hydrological conditions would be. I don't know if we need to click on that. That's a whole, that one's fun. I really like that one. But that one's I got weather updates. I have the reservoir levels. There's also sections within it where I've embedded different media for if you want to learn about what an atmospheric river is, if you want to learn about drought, if you want to learn what a watershed is, there's really good information within there. So this, I think it could be a very useful tool.
And it may be, and part of the reason we wanted to bring this to this committee now is to get some feedback on it. And because I think it's phenomenal. I think Kelly's done a great job on it. But what is the right format, or is it, certain portions of this live on different departments' websites, or is it all consolidated in one? And what's the right way to
Well,
roll something like this
yeah,
out?
you're not going to find 100%, that's just the way it works.
Right. And
But you're going to improve on it, and, things are going to be brought to your attention that you never thought about
right,
when people are reviewing it.
right.
Yeah, so it'll be constantly being improved, and I think that's great.
And it kind of creates some redundancy for us. A lot of the things that we're seeing, we've already posted. It's already on our website. For instance, like the state of the county, that's on our website. It's also on here. So it's not any new information or different information. It's a different vehicle, I think, to see the information. It's maybe enhances it, or some folks like to consume it in different ways. A lot of the younger folks like to consume it on their mobile devices. Some still prefer going to a desktop. And I think this kind of hits both of those. If you go in the tutorials, there's a whole, all the different
yeah.
tutorials for how to
Uh-huh.
read your meter. I know we put these out quite some time ago, and they're on YouTube. You can search them, you can find them. Now they're here. There's the 5-gallon bucket test. There's how to read each one of the meters, because we have 3 different styles of meters. And it can be confusing, but you can go in here, click on that tutorial, and it'll tell you,
Yeah.
give you all that information.
That's good, because you can take your iPhone and go out to where your meter is and say,
Absolutely.
That's me.
Yeah, and it can help you know which meter you have.
Uh-huh,
I mean, again, there's 3 different styles out there, so. But I do encourage you guys, and there's the survey that we did for the town hall. It's embedded in here too, so you can take the survey directly from here. And so far, this survey is more directed towards how people would like to consume the information. What is the preferred social media platform? Do you prefer a newsletter? Do you prefer a press release? So I'm trying to find out that kind of information. Find out if you prefer Facebook over Twitter. And I think it's useful, and I hope, I haven't had a ton of responses, but it's getting there. And so I encourage people to, that's how we're going to get better. And that's how I'm going to learn how people would prefer to get this information. But yeah, and there's a whole section on different media. Like I said, the state of the county's on there, which I know you requested that you wanted on our website. So it's on our website and here. Some of the other videos I've done for like the Thule removal project, some of the presentations, like the presentation that we did for Mountain Counties, that's on there. The presentation we did for the town hall, that's on there, so people can see it after the fact.
Is it the duration is it the entire town hall or just parts of it?
It's the slides of the town hall. It's not the actual
Okay.
town hall. It's the slide deck. Go back to the presentation.
Kelly, on that state of the county, what Michael's presentation for that event, I thought then, and I still think that it's about the most concise explanation about what CCWD is all about. So I was looking at the website recently and looking for that, and it unless you've changed it, it's kind of hidden. So is there a way that you can draw some attention to this, and whatever you need to know about the intricacies of CCWD, the complexities, look at this. Our general manager explains all this. So
Right.
I,
I could draw more attention to it. Absolutely. Right now, it's living with kind of our news and updates. And on the website, you'll see three. And it cycles through those three on the main page. But if you click on it, and then it gives you all of them, you'll see all of our updates, board meeting announcements, whatnot. I mean, actually, yeah, Rebecca, if you don't mind. So when you click on announcements, it gives all the announcements we've done. And I think it's about on the third row down. So right there, the 2023 State of the County, far right. So you can click on that and the video will play. I can easily, and that stayed up on the main page for until, again, the top three, the top three most recent updates stays up there until it kind of goes back in order.
how about there's a About Us tab. Put it there.
I can do that. I can make we can make a section there that has all that stuff. Absolutely.
And then that way they could always refer to it,
Mhm.
instead of,
And that was part of my point too with that. I'm gonna keep calling it a newsletter until I figure out a different name, but is it lives on there too, and somebody might find it easier in that avenue.
why not
in conjunction-
CCWD News?
Well, that's kind of what that says. If you
Well,
scroll up, it's a news-
instead of newsletter, just CCWD News.
Well, one thing that came to my mind, I proposed to the PRT, we haven't decided on it, but we were gonna give it like a name. You know how like some newsletters have a name? I was reluctant to do it because I thought it was kind of cheesy, but I was thinking the current, because like current events and current, water. Kind of-
No pun intended.
I know, so
No, that's perfect. I know the Blue Lake Springs one is the bubbler. I know a lot of water agencies have that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
yeah, and I haven't found one that says the current. I just thought, because like that means it has two different meanings.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
current
Yeah,
events,
like that.
what's currently going on. Yeah, so I did, at one point, it did say that, but I was embarrassed or shy, and when I presented it to the PRT, I pulled it off there and just said newsletter, but
The flow.
yeah, I think there was something, I've seen a few of them. different
A newsletter sounds so formal,
Right. But I know there's been a lot of requests
Well-
for a newsletter. There's been talk about it, so
Yeah, and I think the reason we wanted to just kind of have an open-ended discussion about this too is because a newsletter is something that you put out periodically in a set format, and you put it out quarterly or monthly or whatever it is. This is something that would be kind of interactive and always available
Right,
and always changing. So it's not really, unless I'm
No.
misrepresenting that.
yeah, and that's how I'm viewing it. And again, we're still deciding, would this be something that we update quarterly or would it always be living? For instance, the hydrological conditions, last year I was updating that multiple times a week.
Yeah.
That can get difficult, especially on a year like last year. I mean, it was
And that
another
became a
another
tool.
10 inches of rain overnight.
When-
That became a resource for the emergency response agencies,
Right.
Office of Emergency Services, fire agency, a lot of different entities started referring to that on a regular basis.
It's really useful. It's probably about 10 different websites all on one. It's water levels, it's drought conditions. And especially if you remember
Stream flow.
last year this time,
Yeah.
I mean, we went from an almost red state, drought conditions to nothing. Now it's empty. I mean, we're not in.
When did we start getting rain?
When did
Last
we start?
year.
Last year,
Sure.
November. And we
Yeah, I
started-
was-
Well, the big atmospheric, the first big atmospheric river was
Thanksgiving.
New Year's Eve.
Oh, New Year's Eve.
I was reflecting on that this
Oh,
last
okay.
weekend about how calm this New Year's Eve was.
Uh-huh.
And after I can
Last
show you
year's.
with the link and show you, because in those hydrological conditions, it shows our current water compared to last year. And so it's just really useful. It's fun to see.
Yeah, I think we did have some precipitation October, November last year, but the real big storms started New Year's Eve last year.
Yeah, those are the big ones.
I drove 2 times through Highway 17 on New Year's Eve. and it was hair raising,
Oh,
trees going down
yeah.
on the road.
So this will be repeating kind of what we went through. Thank you, Rebecca, for kind of going through it. It looks a lot better on your phone or on a desktop. So again, it's an experience to try to go through and really just take some time with it. I think you'll find it useful. Kind of enjoy it. So again, there'll be the calendar of the board and committee meetings and also direct links. So if that's all you're really interested in, you want to go to that site, then you just want to see what's the agenda. I don't want to see all this other stuff. There's a link to that. Obviously, the operations reports are very popular, and I think that's great. I've made it to where you can watch it within the newsletter or not. The rate calculator, like I mentioned, the different construction projects, and then direct links on all the customer assistance programs. The current and historical local reservoir levels, you'll find those in the hydrological section. Snowpack, the drought conditions. Again, there was a screenshot of the meter tutorials, and then other CCW content media lives in its own folder as well.
What was snow up at Bear?
I got 10 inches yesterday. I wish I was there today. Today would be a good day.
Get back to work.
Okay. This is just a snapshot of a Facebook post we'll be putting out in the next few days. The Jenny Lynn crew will be starting their hydrant flushing and valve exercising program throughout most likely January and February, weather dependent. They could get it done a little sooner. Again, it depends on their other work tasks and weather. So this is just an example, and I will be putting this out throughout the duration every few days, because sometimes when you flush, the water, there's discoloration, there's pressure fluctuation. So I'm going to be trying to hit this out on all the normal social medias plus our website.
You had a photograph that I was going to draw attention to that had a pipe with a lot of accumulated manganese deposit on the inside of the pipe, and I can imagine if that was upstream from this hydrant, it would be coming out looking like coffee.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Another thing that we are working on in February, we're going to be doing, I reported on this in the last external affairs update as well. We're going to be doing the next tour in Copperopolis. The date isn't totally set in stone yet, so we're still working out that, but it's going to be our water treatment plant, the wastewater treatment plant, and probably some of the construction projects that's going on there. We are going to be doing an online form to sign up, and it's probably going to be for about 15 people. We feel comfortable with doing for that one. So more to come on that pretty soon. We'll have a date locked down for that. And we're going to be trying to do those at least quarterly in different areas. The reason why we picked Copper for February was we just did 2 in Jenny Lynn. We've done 2 in West Point. And as you know, Ebbets Pass in February. Hit or
Not so
miss.
good.
You never know. Yeah.
Not so good.
So thank you. Happy New Year.
I recently asked you for some statistics on pipeline links and things, and you told me that we had 350 miles of water distribution lines and 135 miles of sewer distribution or collection lines. That information needs to be on the website someplace.
Okay. I agree.
Probably along with the fact that we've got 13 water treatment
Right.
facilities and 6
Wastewater.
13 water treatment and 6 sewer treatment, and then 13. But what is the actual thing? Is it, we've got 13 and 6.
Yes.
Okay, 13. is
13
for-
wastewater facilities and 6 water, but we are working on that. It's soon to be 12, right? Soon to be 12
Okay.
on the wastewater facilities.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Wastewater and water treatment.
And some of that information is on our website. Like for instance, all the presentations that we've done over the last few months, it is on our website. We use some of that same data and some of those same slides for example, for the Mountain Counties event that we did, and those are on there. So
The Mountain Counties is on?
Mhm. The slides.
Yeah. Did you say we have 35 miles of
No,
pipe?
350 miles
Oh, 350.
Yeah.
Okay.
and 135 wastewater.
Oh, okay. Because when I speak about our county, I, talk about our being 1,000 square miles, and so I putting that into perspective, it's,
Well, there's a couple really interesting ways of looking at that. I mean, we can
Yeah.
look at it per mile of pipe, or, I mean, to me, what's more impactful is the distance that we're traveling as an agency. It's pretty remarkable when you look at all of our neighboring agencies, and they're in these nice little consolidated areas
High
where,
population densities and.
yeah, so that's,
And not, so we have 1,000 square miles in the county. And we have
Right.
Countywide water resources planning jurisdiction. I think we have a combined total of 40 square miles of service area. So,
yes, in that, yes, 40.
so when you look at the map of the county and then you color in our service areas all over, spread throughout the county, it's about 40 square miles of service area.
hey, we're
But they're, as to Kelly's point, on, all corners of the county.
right. Uh-huh.
And we utilize some of that data and some of those visuals throughout this process, because we were really, I mean, of course, not to everybody, but to me, that's pretty impactful when you see it like that. It really puts it in perspective. When you look at the footprint of the county and then the footprint of each one of our 6, water facilities and 13, soon to be 12 wastewater facilities just spread out everywhere. It's remarkable.
Do we have our electric vehicles ordered up yet?
I don't think that's for this meeting. But I don't think they're ordered yet. Do you guys have any other questions? And again, I'd love to help you guys link to
Yeah,
that
this is,
newsletter so you can take a look at it and tell me your thoughts.
Mhm.
Again, it's still in that data or research and development
Mm.
phase where
Mm.
I would love the feedback and see if it's something you guys feel is useful.
Well, as soon as I get my new laptop hooked up, I will go there and I will come back with a question.
I look forward to it.
Well, you said you love doing this and we love the fact that you love it. And thanks for doing everything you
Yeah.
do. Really.
Your enthusiasm, Kelly, is just,
Wonderful.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
uh-huh,
Thank you very much.
very much appreciated.
So do we have public comment on this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, public comment.
Yes, ma'am.
Fernando. Francisco.
No,
Francisco.
just a recommendation to Mr. Kelly G to perhaps open up the newsletter to a customer naming contest with some nominal, hey, thank you for the great name. And we've got 3 entries for him to consider already. Okay, so if he's taking notes, it's CCWD WikiLeaks.
WikiLeaks.
All the
Oh,
CCWD drips and leaks. Get in on the real deal. And lastly, CCWD fish wrap. But
Fish wrap.
Kelly, I know you're trying to get this thing rolling, and I congratulate you on your efforts. What is meaningful to me is numbers. We have almost 14,000 customers, and I know your engagement numbers are increasing every time a new thing gets rolled out. It'd be very insightful for me to be able to see the percent engaged out of that customer base as a key metric, in addition to all the, eyeballs and flips and reshares and all that. But percent engaged, especially like when this pilot program, the portal, is coming up, is a key indicator to me of success.
Yeah, thank you. I think those are great ideas. We did talk about doing a survey for the names. And after your names there, I think that could be a really fun topic to report on the results. I think that can make for a fun meeting. And as far as the numbers for engagement in that newsletter, what's kind of nice too is I'm using software that we already have. It's in the Microsoft basically package that we already have, so no extra costs. And on the back end, I can see engagement. I can see how many people have viewed it. I can see average time, whether or not they're doing a quick read, whether or not they're doing a deep read. So it is kind of neat. So it will be fun to watch as people engage with it to see.
Mhm. Without having to go in with a whole new program or new
Right.
parameters, you have it there. Oh, that's great.
And we are looking
Yeah.
at that. You know, I can see on our website the spikes of when people are looking at our website. So I
At
can
what
tell.
time?
Yeah.
What time? What time is the best time?
Right. So that is one thing I'll be looking forward to on this. If it does roll out and it is successful, we can see that kind of information.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 5, guess who?
I don't have a whole lot to report without giving away the punchline for next week's board meeting. Kelly already announced the new customer service representative that we're very excited about. We also have well, hopefully have, I can't announce names yet, but a new engineering coordinator starting later this month that we're also very excited about. And you know, we have some movement on a few other positions that we're trying to get filled as well. So, but other than that, it's you know, kudos to our operations staff for keeping things relatively quiet over the break, and to everybody else for really great presentations today, both Kellys. And I'll reserve the rest of my comments for next week. We have engineering committee on Tuesday and board meeting on Wednesday. And then yeah, mid-year budget review coming up later this month. So a lot of as always, a lot going on.
And how many vacancies do we still have?
Let's see, 4 and another one coming. So yeah, we still have vacancies that we need to fill, but it's great to have the new folks that we've found, really talented new staff that we're excited about, and we're working hard to fill the rest of them.
Okay. Thank you. Director comments or future agenda items. This is your area, Russ. You always,
Stir the pot. Really on the names, I think that there should be a water section and a like a sewer section, and the sewer section could be called a poop scoop. Okay, all right. All right, future agenda items. It's encouraging to me to see that our customer service activities are improving and expanding, and that you have some positive things to report. I'm looking forward to that once a month billing. Maybe that
in which term are you talking?
won't happen.
Which term are you talking?
It depends on how the recall goes. So whether I get to see it or not. No. Oh man. As soon as you arrive at a date for that Copperopolis tour, I'd like to get some advance warning on that. And I want to participate in that. I really haven't thought about future agenda items, but I will communicate.
But you will.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Yep, I certainly will. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Thank you. I'm just thrilled. I was thrilled yesterday, or when was I thrilled? When I had 6 inches on my 6 inches of snow on my railing yesterday.
Mm.
Yeah, and it snowed all day. I'd like to know what the difference was between what we got in this time last year.
We're way off of what we had by this time last year. Yeah, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but there's a big difference.
Uh-huh. Well, all I know is that Ebbets Pass is certainly getting their economical boost. There were thousands of cars up and down the hill. It's just great. I'm just, and that's what Ebbets Pass lives on.
Over the break, yeah.
Yeah. So there was a whole lot of people who are very interested in hitting the slopes. So comment my house. So thank you. No future agenda items. Oh, who has their hand up? Francisco.
Yes, ma'am. Just in the note that the whole meeting was started with in the first public comments, I'm requesting a standing agenda item at this committee meeting to report out on the ratepayer-centric performance dashboard.
Standing
To-
agenda item.
Oh, say that again, Francisco,
Yes,
please.
Yes, please, just add a standing agenda item. Maybe we'll make a different decision as it rolls out. But to report out on the rate-centric performance or dashboard.
Well,
Yeah,
Comment?
or we could include that in the external affairs manager report. And yeah, we can address that.
okay. It'll be worked in.
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, and I didn't say this, but I'll say it now. The next committee meeting, Tuesday, February 27th at 2024.
Mhm.
At 1:00. Okay,
I think that is the same week as the board meeting or one of those months, which is okay, if that's okay with the committee. Just wanted to.
So we're rolling back to the 4th Tuesday of the month, which is what this one is normally set at.
Gotcha.
But the last couple fell on holidays, so.
So.
oh, I might flip my calendar
It's
to
always gonna be
February.
next to the board meeting.
Right, one of them has to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
That.
You got that worked out?
You said that was in conflict with what meeting?
Nope, I was just noting that it was the day before the second board meeting in February, but that's not a conflict. We're good, as long as the committee members are okay with that.
So we should have a meeting scheduled for the 29th, so that would be the meeting that we have every 4 years.
Right, yeah. We should have a recurring meeting. I have a cousin with a birthday. February 20th.
Regularly scheduled meeting.
Okay,
Okay, I want to go home.
all right. Meeting adjourned.